Welcome, I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, fear of reprisal attacks grips Kaduna as reports say soldiers have killed 60 members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria. We continue our review of major events of 2015. Tonight, we turn our attention to the presidency. Federal High Court in Abuja gives acting national chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus, 14 days to vacate his office. And U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry holds talks with Russian authorities on ways to end the Syrian conflict.
On business news tonight, federal government advised to be cautious of recurrent expenditure plan in the 2016 fiscal budget.
And on sports news tonight, former president of Honduras, Rafael Callejas, voluntarily surrenders to U.S. authorities to face bribery charges as part of the FIFA corruption scandal.
We begin tonight in Kaduna State, where there are conflicting reports on the number of people killed and those injured in recent clashes between the Nigerian army and the members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria. The chief medical director of Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Zaria, Lawal Khalid, says the hospital's mortuary has received 61 bodies from the ongoing turmoil. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented by the Minister of Interior, has warned religious bodies across the country to refrain from activities capable of breaching public peace and order. He advised them to show more respect for the rule of law.
This is what is left of the camp where members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, a Shiite group, has called home. Every significant structure has been razed by men believed to be from the Nigerian army upon a second visit to the camp on Tuesday evening. The soldiers have also been stationed at strategic points across the area.
As a GOC of 1 division, I take that very, very seriously.
The army had encountered the sect when they blocked the Zaria-Jos road, observing a procession marking the Muslim month of Maulud, which is the Prophet Muhammad's birth month. It said there was an attempt on the life of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. A crossfire ensued between Shiite adherents and Lieutenant General Burutai's convoy, which led to the loss of lives. The army allegedly returned to the sect's enclave on Saturday and killed scores of people, including the group's leader, Ibrahim Zakzaki's son, in retaliation for the attempted attack. Zakzaki's wife and other prominent leaders of the group are said to be missing.
Certainly, why we are part of what we are doing is to ensure that we establish normalcy within the communities, and to also give confidence to those living within the community. Everybody should come back and continue with his normal life.
The number of casualties is still undetermined, and the army is keeping mum on the numbers. However, some reports say the number of people killed during the raid range from scores to hundreds. The sect has insisted it did not attack the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff as alleged by the army.
It's unfortunate, but we are going to investigate and build up case files and apportion, blame where, we are supposed to do that. Most of the acts are criminal, and once they are criminal, the criminal justice system will take its course.
Ibrahim Zakzaki has been arrested by the army and his whereabouts unknown. His disappearance and the military's raid has drawn the attention of Iran, which has called on the Nigerian government to be careful how it deals with the matter.
To legal matters now, the Federal High Court in Abuja will on Thursday, December the 17th, deliver ruling on whether to admit the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and operator of Radio Biafra, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, on bail. Justice Adeniyi Ademola gave the date after taking arguments from both parties involved in the bail application. Counsel to the CSS, Mr. Moses Idakwa, who reacted to the bail application sought by Mr. Kanu, asked the court not to admit the suspect on bail because he was allegedly involved in terrorism acts. The DSS counsel told Justice Ademola that the federal government was in possession of bank account details of the accused person in dollars and pounds sterling from which he had been financing terrorism acts against the country. Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Mr. Vincent Obeta, however, dismissed the claims of the DSS on the grounds that they were speculative and not supported by any documents or facts.
The Honorable Court to set aside the order gotten by the SSS, mandating them to detain Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for 90 days. So we came to court and brought an application to set it aside. That application was actually taken on the last adjourned date, and the court adjourned today for the prosecution to argue their case on the basis of the counter affidavit. As you could see, it went well because we were able to continue to advance the fact that you cannot have a right of audience in court when you are in disobedience to court orders. We've had plethora of cases from the Apex Court which says that anyone or any institution that is in disobedience to court orders shouldn't be given an audience in court. And it's on that basis that we came. Also advancing, coming from the point of the fundamental rights of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we were contending that any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is null and void. And then we have placed our cards before the Honorable Court. There are areas to which I can't go in, otherwise I will be falling short of the law. Because once a matter is before a court of law, it becomes sub judice for me to go into the nitty-gritty of what has transpired. But in any case, we've been able to put our cards on the table, and then the prosecution has also argued their case. We've been able to also bring the clearer picture of what has been transpiring in this trial before the court. And we are hopefully waiting for the court to take a decision one way or the other. And we have adjourned for the 17th of December 2015 for the ruling of.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned the former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, and 5 others on fresh charges of misappropriation and stealing of 19.5 billion naira. The former security advisor was arraigned along with the former Minister of State for Finance, Bashir Yuguda, the former governor of Sokoto State, Atahiru Bafarawa, his son, and 2 others. Our correspondent, Amaka Ukafo, reports.
Less than 24 hours after he was arraigned on the 19-count charges of stealing and criminal breach of trust, the former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, has been arraigned on fresh charges of corruption. Colonel Dasuki was arraigned alongside the immediate past Minister of State for Finance, Malam Bashir Yuguda, a former governor of Sokoto State, Alhaji Atahiru Bafara, and his son, Sagir Atahiru, the Director of Finance in the Office of the National Security Advisor, Mr. Shuaibu Salihu, and 2 others. According to the charges, Colonel Dasuki was said to have transferred 3.350 billion naira to the account of Dalhatu Investments Limited, owned by Alhaji Atahiru Bafara and his son, as payment for supply of security equipment. The former Minister of State for Finance, Malam Yuguda, was also accused of authorizing the transfer of 100 million naira to the same account for the purpose of the presidential election campaign. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges. The prosecutor, Rotimi Jacob, requested for an adjournment till next year to enable him assemble his witnesses for trial. One of the defense lawyers, Ahmed Raji, raised the issue of bail for the accused persons. He told the court that the application for their bail has been filed and served on the prosecution. With the consent of all the parties in the case, the court adjourned hearing to the bail application to the 16th of December 2015. At a separate court, lawyer to the former National Security Advisor asked the court to adopt an earlier bail condition given to his client by the Federal High Court as the issues are the same. Other defense lawyers urged the court to release their clients on bail.
Under the new law, anything that touches on money, there can be what they call plea bargain. So it's not about sentencing somebody to imprisonment or confining somebody, but if money can be recovered, assuming at the end of the day it is correct. So this is just to buttress the point that the bail should ordinarily come in a matter of this nature.
Let's make an application for bail, and then the court will decide on what happens. It's a matter solely within the court's discretion.
Opposing the application, the prosecutor, Rotimi Jacobs, asked the court to reject the request for the accused bail. He told the court that there are concerns that the accused persons will jump bail or even obstruct ongoing investigations on asset tracking.
What was arraigned for in the Federal High Court, as I said, as you listen to us, is a second secondary offense. The primary offense that are alleged against him are before this Federal Capital Territory High Court. So it's not money laundering. So the main case is here.
The judge, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, adjourned the case to Friday for ruling on the bail application and commencement of trial. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
The presidency has denied rumors making the rounds that President Muhammadu Buhari received $300,000 and up to 5 armored SUVs from the Office of the National Security Advisor following the attack on his convoy in Kaduna last year. The presidency, in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, stated, quote, "We unequivocally deny that President Buhari received $300,000 or any monetary compensation whatsoever from the Jonathan presidency or any of its officials in the aftermath of that attack or any other time since then." He, however, admitted that 1 armored SUV and 1 untreated SUV were sent to the president after the attack, but insisted that the vehicles were the president's entitlements, which requires that 3 vehicles be provided for former heads of state and replaced every 4 years. According to him, there is therefore nothing illegal or tending to corruption in President Buhari accepting the vehicles. The Senate President Bukola Saraki says the trial of the former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki over alleged mismanagement of billions of naira meant for armed procurement is a partial indictment on the National Assembly. Speaking after the upper chamber debated on a motion, Senator Saraki said the Senate has not properly performed its oversight functions on government ministries, departments and agencies. He said the inability of the Senate committees to effectively monitor government MDAs has led to the gross mismanagement of revenue and cases of incompetence.
Distinguished colleagues, I want us in this 8th Senate to ensure that our committees carry out proper oversight. And we, as leadership, are going to ensure that we too find a way of making sure that committees do their work of oversight, because truly that is the bottom line to this. Even the current investigation going on in the National Security Advisor's Office also, whether we like it or not, in a way to, again, the oversight function of the National Assembly brought to question. We must play a role in the area of oversight, because if we don't play it, at the end of the day, this is what we get.
In part 2, after the break, we shift our focus to the presidency in continuation of our 2015 review, and our guest is Dr. Dele Ashiru. That's in a moment. You stay with us.